Hey, good morning. Today is Thursday, April 9th. Guys, it's hard to keep my days straight. I am going to give you a little short video today, and we don't have any homework. I know today is a busy day for you guys. You've got a lot of Zoom meetings today, so I don't want to have you take up extra time with some homework. But I've got some important information that I want you to watch today, and I'm going to be talking about your seeds. I'm going to be talking about the trees, an iMovie. I've got a tutorial for you, and then I want to kind of introduce our worm composting project that we're going to do. So really lots of stuff to talk about today. Let me start by sharing my screen. I have a Google slide I want to share with you. Hopefully it'll go. Yep. Okay. So a couple things I want to remind you about. I'm going to try and move hopefully I move my little picture of myself up and you don't have anything blocking. I wanted to show you a picture of my seeds that I have on my window. And I was doing a little bit more investigating after I made the video yesterday, because my question is this: we've got a wet paper towel and it's in a sealed Ziploc baggie, and it's got energy from the sun, so you know that those particles are speeding up. It's going to get warm, so hence there's going to be some evaporation, condensation, things going on. And I wondered if that was okay for the seeds. And I found out that you're not supposed to seal the Ziploc bag, so don't seal it. If you've got yours closed, it was okay just for one day, but go ahead and open it up. I'm not going to open up mine all the way because I don't want that paper towel drying out. So I just unlocked mine, or unzipped mine, about halfway. And then I'm just going to watch it and make sure that it's not turning moldy, or my beans and my seeds aren't getting mold or something on there. So just watch yours. At the same time, you're going to have to watch it and make sure that that paper towel always has some moisture on it. So if you need to add a little bit more water to it, don't pour water into your baggie. That's going to be way, way, way too much. Instead, what I would do is just take out the paper towel just a little bit from the baggie and wet just the top part, and the water will seep through that paper towel, and it should be good enough to keep your beans and your seeds germinating. It's got water that it needs to germinate, but not overpower it or overwater it. Okay, so next slide is I've got a close-up of my bean, and you can see I've got some condensation already happening here. And I wish I had a better picture, but because of the condensation right there, it looks a little foggy. But the casing around the bean is starting to wrinkle, and I'm starting to get a sprout. And that sprout means that it's germinating. That's the technical term for when you've got sprouts coming out of your seeds. And once in normal life, once you would get those germinations occurring, you would go ahead and plant it, but we're not going to do that. I've got a couple other additional experiments I want to have you guys try at home, but we need some good germination. We need some good sprouts on your seeds. So we're going to wait a little bit. You guys just monitor your seeds, make sure that they're growing. And the reason why they're growing is because they have this stored energy inside the seed itself. That's where it's getting the food to do the chemical processes that it needs to do in order to move on. But where is that energy coming from? So these are the two standards that I'm going to pull out. And you guys, you don't know this, and that's fine, but in our state standards across the top, it sort of has like it's called a strand, and it's like the big category, and then everything else kind of nests underneath that category. And so I decided to pull up the strand for 7-8, and that is that matter and energy in organisms and ecosystems will use energy, and that energy flows from one organism to another. And in fact, it flows throughout. It's a cycle, and it just flows in all kinds of interactions. And then specifically 784 we need to gather, analyze, and communicate evidence of the flow of energy and cycling of matter in organisms and ecosystems. And so this week, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to, we've got a lot of experiments that we're doing, investigations that we're running, because we're going to be making some observations over the next several weeks, and I want to set you up for that so you can do that at home. So we're doing that, first of all, with just reminding you what we did this week. We did that through photosynthesis. And remember, photosynthesis takes place in what we call organisms that are autotrophs. And autotrophs will make their own food. And so they use photosynthesis. They use the energy from the sun to generate a chemical reaction, and then that creates glucose or carbohydrates or whatever you want to call it. And that's what they use to eat. And so that's what's happening here with the Elodia plant. We know that it's happening because it's evidence from that oxygen bubble that we saw. That was one of the reactants also. We also know that the seeds are growing because they have this stored energy, stored carbohydrates, stored sugars, and they're using that to grow. And that's going on with the leaves as well. When we eat these things, so like if you would make some lentil soup, or you would put beans in chili and you eat that, you're eating that stored carbohydrates. And so when we eat and we say, oh, I got to cut back on my carbs, or you've got a game the next day and you want a carb load, you want to get a lot of energy, and so you can store that energy. This is where we're getting that. So this is that whole idea of energy being cycled through different organisms. And then we have a really cool project that I'm going to start. Hopefully my worms arrive today. I've got 2,000 red wiggler worms that are being delivered from Florida. They've got a worm farm in Florida, and I ordered 2,000 of them for my compost bin. And that's why I'm dressed the way I'm dressed. I'm getting ready to go out and start making my bin ready for my worms. So if I get them, I can put them right in today. And that'll be a video that you guys will see on Tuesday when you come back to school. So the worms are kind of at the tail end of this whole cycle, and that worms are decomposers, and they'll take food that's already been grown from the producers, like fruit and vegetables, and they will decompose that. They get their energy from that, and then they have what's called castings, and I'll explain about that in that video. But we end up benefiting from that as well. The earth benefits from that, and this is how the cycle continues. It doesn't end with the worms, it just sort of continues. So pretty cool stuff. I'm excited to get going with that. All right, so today I want to show you the movie tutorial for iMovie. Some of you guys have done this before, and that's awesome. I need to share my screen with you. Let's see, how do I do this? Just a second, you guys. I'm going to pause my video really fast. Actually, I should be able to do this. Yes, okay, hopefully this works. And if it doesn't, I'll have to make the video again. So this is what you're going to do. I have a video I took on my iMovie. So you guys have iMovie on your iPads. And hopefully you've had 2 or 3 days worth of pictures of your trees. And some of the tree pictures that I've seen, some of you guys keep sending me your pictures. That's awesome. I'd love to see it. So they look perfect, exactly what I want them to do. And so let me go ahead and play this. And as I'm playing it, I'm putting my glasses on. As I'm playing it, I'll explain what I'm doing. So in your iPad, go ahead and open iMovies. And then you're going to create a project. And then you want to create a movie. And then you're going to pick the pictures that you want. And here's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you pick them in the order that you made them. Does that make sense? So because I'm going to pause it here for a second. I chose mine based on, I am actually doing I had 2 trees that I was going to do, and I decided to do my apple tree because it's really turning out really good and I love it. So I clicked them in the order that I want them to show up on the iMovie. So I clicked the one from April 5th, then April 6th, then April 7th, which was yesterday. So I only have 3 pictures. I've got to go out and take another picture here today. So pick them in that order, click them in that order, and then they'll drop in that order automatically. So once they're there, we need to do some editing, okay? For right now, you can just drop them in every day if you want to. But in order to, I've looked, hang on, I'm gonna pause this for a second. I've looked on different tutorial sites and YouTube to see how we can make a time-lapse video using iMovies. And the thing of it is, we're using pictures, and they said that you need like 100 pictures to be 4 seconds long. And I did not realize that. So it's not gonna allow us to do this really smooth time-lapse video. So when you put your pictures in, more than likely they're gonna go in and you're gonna see them for a long period of time. Well, you can pinch the pictures like what I'm doing here, pinch them to make them last longer, but we want them short. So go ahead and pinch them as close together as you can, okay? I was showing you how you can make them big, but let's go ahead and make them, oh, I know what I was doing here. Sometimes and if you're familiar with making time-lapse video, you know this. You can click on the timeline down here for your picture, and then there should be an icon right here that you can click on, and that will help you say, I want this to go really fast. Well, because we're just putting still pictures in, it's not letting us do that. So that's why you have to pinch them close together. Otherwise, they last way too long, okay? So go ahead and pinch them close together. And then I think I'm gonna show you, yes. Okay, I'm gonna pause this for a second. When you click on one photo, and you'll have to do this for every single one of your pictures, you'll click on one of these photos and you get these editing prompts. So the first one is to pinch to position the end. So we push that together to make it really short. And the second thing is called a Ken Burns enabled. And what that does is it's that really cinematic kind of effect where it looks like the picture's getting big, and then it'll blend into another picture. Maybe that's one's moving off to the side a little bit. Well, we don't want that. I just want picture, 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 so we can kind of focus on one spot in the picture so you can tell what's going on. So I'm gonna play this. When you, I hit the wrong play. When you push that Ken Burns effect, you'll want to disable that, okay? So I think, see how that just kind of zooms one way or the other, and we don't want that. So we're gonna disable Ken Burns. So it just shows you one picture, and we'll disable all of them. So then the last thing is the transitions. So all you have to do is just click on that transition. And what I did is, I'm gonna stop. I did this one right here, where I don't want any transition. I just want the pictures to sort of look like it's going one into the other. It just kind of snaps. It's like if you had a deck of cards and you just kind of flipped through it so you could see it change. That's the best I think we're gonna do with the short number of pictures that we're gonna have. So I'll show you what, with just 3 pictures, this is what I have. And maybe once I add more pictures, it's gonna allow me to make it go faster. But this ultimately is what we're gonna be, what I'm gonna see and what you will too. So just focus on one of those leaves, one of those little buds, and I'm trying to find the exact space. Like I line it up so I stay in the same spot. So you can see my leaves after only 3 days, they're really coming out. I haven't checked it yet today, I need to do that. Oh, Evan, I got a message that Evan sent in his Schoology pit thing. Okay, so does that make sense? I hope it does. If you have any questions about that, let me know. And if you have a better way of doing it, let me know that too. This is my first time making a time-lapse video like this. I thought it would be a really cool idea, and I don't know if you guys have done something and you have a better idea of doing it. All right? Okay, so lots for you guys to do today. Check your seeds, make sure that they're staying moist, and and open up your Ziploc baggies so they don't get too wet in there, so we can allow some evaporation. We don't want a whole lot of condensation, and then the seeds will get moldy or rotten, or they may not germinate at all. Second thing, make sure you're taking your pictures of your trees again, and then let's go ahead and start an iMovie. Just save your project, and then you can edit it and add more pictures as you go. And then be ready on Tuesday to watch a video of me setting up the compost bin and finding a home for our 2,000 worms. Should be interesting. I hope you guys have a great weekend and enjoy the weather. I know it's not supposed to be very nice next week, so enjoy it while we have it. All right, you guys, see ya.